Well, my strategy of doing nothing apparently worked. Yesterday, the stock market took a nosedive, the Dow opening down 800 points, but by the end of the day, it was up. And yesterday, the NASDAQ went from being down more than 3% to up more than 3%. So far today, that trend is continuing. Our friend Meet Kevin bought the dip yesterday. He made a quick $700,000 after buying $7 million worth of dip yesterday. But Kevin still holding a bunch of cash, and he's watching the Fed. Some of us still have cash on the sidelines. Some of us are fully invested. Today on Dumb Money, we are live with the latest on the stock market and crypto and the war and the Fed and whatever else you guys want to talk about. We are Dumb Money.
Three friends who turned $30,000 into $30 million using nothing more than Twitter and a zero commission trading account.
The suits that work on Wall Street, they call those people the smart money. That's not us.
Our goal is to help level the playing field for everyday investors.
We are Dumb Money.
Hey there, Dave here along with Chris and Jordan. We are Dumb Money. Welcome to Dumb Money Live. It is a special Friday happy hour live chat edition of the show where we like to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. We're going to take as many of your questions as we possibly can down in the live chat. Let's get that up on the screen here in a minute. First thing first, though, it's my job as a YouTuber to ask you, beg with you, plead with you to please smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm and for us. It makes us feel happy on the inside. Chris, Jordan, good afternoon.
So, Dave, your title is Buy the Dip. With what money? What money were you using to buy the dip with?
Your margin account. You have plenty of money available to you. You just have to go deeper into margin.
Oh, sure. Yeah, let's just... Hell no, dude. No chance.
So we didn't talk about this yesterday because our stream got cut off early, and we got some comments. People actually liked the way the show ended yesterday. I was just like mortified by just the show just ended completely without any control. But after we went off, we were still talking amongst ourselves, and you decided to put a little hedge on.
Worst hedge of all time. Maybe I'm trying to figure out. I'm sure there were worse times to put a hedge on, but probably not. Actually, can you get worse than 100% loss in 24 hours?
I don't know if it's ever been done. This is the Chris mug, by the way. You can pick this up in our gift shop. That's me and Chris and Jordan. The last time I had this on the show, we got comments about it. So just tell me what happened.
I bought a couple hundred SPY puts that expired today, and here was my thesis. My thesis was I felt like there were going to continue to be more questions and answers between yesterday and market close today, going into the weekend especially. And I know everyone kind of already knows that trade, the weekend trade of anxiety around something like this. But honestly, like I feel like there really are way more questions and answers in terms of what on earth Putin's going to do, what this means for the market. And I felt like, yeah, we could probably see a recovery come next week, but I felt like yesterday and today were going to be ugly. What the hell do I know? This is why I don't trade macro stuff. I talk about this all the time. I don't trade macro stuff because it's impossible to really do it with any sort of accuracy on a regular basis. I'm going to stick with granular social arb trades, what got me here. And I will continue to hedge every once in a while when I see stuff like this, but that just blew up my face, man. Unless the market tumbles 1,000 points in the next 2 hours.
I mean, we've seen crazier things happen, but yeah, just looking at the chart right now, got the NASDAQ, the Dow, and the SPY all there, and they're all just going up. That's why I was like, is this it? Is it time to buy the dip? I mean, I'm still
a little bit yesterday, and then I sold a little bit today.
Really?
Yeah.
What did you buy and what did you sell?
I just saw the S&P ETFs, just little down and up.
Oh wow, that's not typical of you to get S&P get the SPY. You bought the SPY. So I told you I was hedging the SPY, and you went and bought it. So you're screwing me. You're literally.
How did I screw you? My trade was so small; it had nothing to do with the overall
Hey, no, I think that actually, that's not a bad investing strategy because it seems like anytime I buy something, it immediately goes down. And I know that you've had that same phenomenon happen, Chris. So the fact that Jordan just like used that leverage, he basically said, Chris is buying something. I'm gonna just take the opposite of that and just see what happens. Long term, I wouldn't go against the market, but a little short term.
Only when it's a macro market timing thing, which I preach don't ever do, and then occasionally I use my gut instinct, which
you just
is
can't help
usually
yourself.
wrong on that stuff to do it.
Yeah.
It is what it is, man. I came to terms with this morning. Last night the market was down after hours. I was like, oh, here we go. All right, it's taking a little longer, but we'll get crushed in the morning, and it'll all work out, right? That hedge.
The market was down after hours?
Yeah, last night it was down maybe
turn on extended hours here.
3/4 of 1%.
Oh yeah,
morning,
it did slide a little bit right there.
Yeah.
To
No,
down
I'm
there.
talking about futures, Dave. I'm talking about futures.
Oh, okay.
The futures. Futures were
when I
down
woke up this morning,
half a
futures were
point.
down. I think the Dow was down like 300 points or something like that
Yeah,
when I woke up.
but whatever. So what do you think right now, guys? Dave, I also agree with you. This is a time. We're not financial advisors. This is what we're doing in our own accounts. It's not a time to make any rash decisions. We had a whole episode on this this last week. Just don't do a lot. Think big, but actually transact small, right? Like, don't make any big moves during times like this because there's a lot of volatility. There's a lot of unknowns. We could see this market swing any which way next week. I'm pretty comfortable with where I am, right? I'm not levered, but I'm fully invested. Well, not fully invested, excuse me. I do have still, I think $2.5 million of SPY that I'm short as just an overall short hedge against my long portfolio. And all that serves to do is just kind of even out the bumps in the road here. It allows me to sleep through the weekend. If something absolutely crazy happens this week, I just want to sleep through the weekend, guys. Like, I want to know I'm not 100% exposed. I'm like 80% exposed right now.
Yeah, that's about what I'm like 70% exposed, and I feel okay about that.
Yeah,
I'm more exposed. I think I'm fully invested. I have a little bit of margin, but then I also have a little bit of cash. And then I have a bunch of cash sitting in USDC earning interest. So that's kind of where I am.
What kind of interest you're earning?
14%. 14%.
Oh, you mean? Oh,
yes.
okay. You're on the
USDC.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, crypto and NFTs had a really weird week. They have been all over the place. What's Ethereum at right now? Like 2,600?
It's up 10% on the
it's
day. It's 2685.
So good for Ethereum, probably bad for my NFTs. Let me see what my cats are trading for right now. Let's see.
In the past 24 hours, Bitcoin is up almost 8%. Ethereum is up 9.5%. Let's see some other. Solana is up 6%. Terra is up 19%. Avalanche up 10%. But then I always like to look at this 7-day number because that's really, we're still down in Bitcoin. We're still down in Ethereum. We're still break even at Solana. We're up 36% on Terra Luna. What in the world? That's one that I don't own. I have some Avalanche. Up 10%, 24 hours, down 9%, 7 days. There's my Crow tokens. How are those doing? Up 9%.
Oh, I got Crow too. I'm stuck in that for another 2 months.
Are you staking that?
Yeah, I did the whole
Are you getting the credit card?
$40,000.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but
you took my advice.
I never went forward with, I staked it, but I didn't use the stupid credit card thing, and I'm so tired of it already. I just want to sell it. I'm not into it, man. I want to sell that Crow. I'm not doing it.
Why?
I'm staked for
Why don't
6
you want
months.
5% back on all of your credit card purchases? Why don't you want to be able to, and really it's not about that. It's about being able to stake in their earn program and get the crazy, if you have any cash sitting on the sidelines, just tie it up for 3 months at a time and make 14% interest.
Hey,
I'll
Dave,
tell
I
you
like
why.
steak.
You like steak?
Yeah, a
I'll
lot.
tell you why, dude. Because Dave, I can buy a cat, a cool cat, and just
Milk
that
it dry.
generates milk. Yeah, that generates milk for me, and I think I'll do better with the milk production from my cat, or I can get a planet on Pixel Vault, Meta Hero, that will produce a sidekick that will actually manufacture POW currency daily. That I think that will even do better. So
If
like
somebody
I don't know,
traveled in
man.
See,
time from 2005 and just listened to that, their head would explode.
Exactly. See, I just can't. For me, that's too speculative. I just can't see buying a cat NFT and hoping that it generates milk and hoping that that project continues to be in favor. For me, yes, I realize that staking USDC also has risks, but to me that seems less risky than the cat phenomenon falling out of favor.
Yeah, but Crow is just all based on crypto.com, right?
But
So
you
like
don't.
if that company.
Yeah, but you're staking the Crow just to be able to stake USDC. At least that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, but you still have risk in the underlying Crow, right?
Well, speaking of buying the dip, when is the time to buy the dip on Coinbase? Because they got hammered
They
after
got
hours.
murdered. I'm not exactly sure what I did. I read
So
some
what they
tweets on
said
that.
was, well, so first of all, they blew it out. They're making tons of money, but they just, I think they said that the first quarter is not going to be as good as the fourth quarter of last year. Just that volatility is kind of down, and so there's not as many transactions in the first part of this year.
They
I don't
were
know.
down, but they've come back up.
Yeah, I mean it's down 1% today. Still, I mean it's still, I mean if you'd have bought at 155, you'd have been looking great yesterday morning. But
Yeah, I did listen. My Coinbase trade here is on the NFT marketplace, so I need to
Yeah.
see how that goes. I think we're getting closer to that launch, I suspect, and I don't know. I'm gonna keep a close eye on that because I sold all my Coinbase call options. I sold them at a huge profit, perfectly timed those, but I still have my Coinbase equity that I had purchased a month or two ago. So I'm down on that. I'll pop back into Coinbase options if they launch their marketplace and it looks like it's going to be successful.
Yeah, I'm thinking
the
of
market's up
Coinbase
huge.
as my NFT exposure because I just
Yeah.
can't get into buying cats.
That's
And
fine, Dave. I mean, I think that's a fine way to play it.
I mean, I still have, depending on what the price is, I still have enough exposure to Coinbase.
yeah, I don't have any Coinbase right
$150,000.
now. I still feel like waiting on it, even though who knows what happens between now and when that launches. But I want some. I want to own it.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to get to questions in a second here, guys, because we're getting some good questions. But I also want to talk about a trade that we've been talking about since the very start of the pandemic, and I keep coming back to this trade. I had to book travel for spring break. Okay, yes. So basically, I was going to the Bahamas, and I've checked in on my flight, and American Airlines changed me from a direct flight to stopovers with all kinds of crazy times. Now my family's not even sitting together on all the legs. I was so frustrated. Couldn't
You
get
canceled
American
your whole
Airlines
trip
on the
and you're
phone.
going somewhere else now, right?
Yeah, I mean, I canceled the
That's what I read on
entire
Facebook
trip.
anyway.
I'm not on Facebook. You know
I'm not
more
either.
about
That's what Megan told me that she saw on Facebook.
from my wife.
From
Yeah,
Amy, yeah.
I don't even know what she's putting on Facebook, but yeah, I think she put a post out like trying to solicit beach vacations, last minute beach vacations. We settled on Turks and Caicos, the like the beaches or whatever it's called, beaches. Anyway, it's
I thought
so
it was Pecos,
expensive.
not like cheese dip.
What?
Turks and Quesos.
What? Quesos?
It's
I
chips
don't
and
know what it's
quesos.
called. I don't know
No,
what it's called, but the
Caicos.
bottom line is I started looking for vacations, right? Oh my gosh, it was to say things have got spiraled out of control in terms of expensive is
Yeah.
understating it. We're talking like $1,100 to $1,800 a plane ticket to get anywhere. Hotels were selling for, in some cases, now granted, the one thing I don't mind spending money on are nice hotels when I vacation. I won't sleep in a van like Dave does, but the
I,
I think it was like
I only do that for one night, 2 tops.
there were some hotels I was looking at that used to be like, I don't know, $800 a night. They were $3,300 a night. Some of their suites, I saw suites for $35,000 a night. I'm like, who the hell is paying this? Who's paying $3,500 a night for just a regular room? Just a room with a
But that's
bed
like
in it.
spring break weekend. That has to be a premium. And
Dave, I've been traveling spring break for a long time. Okay, yes, sometimes
wait, how much?
they
How
go
much
up to
did you say it was?
$3,500 a night. Hotels that used to be
That's a lot.
$800 a night.
Well, I think you're shopping wrong. Here's Ritz-Carlton, Turks and Caicos for $1,300 a night.
Oh,
Why didn't
okay.
you pay
First of
Colts,
all,
Chris?
And here's an
when is
all-inclusive
that?
for $800.
First of all, that's not the hotel I was referring to. But I don't know when you're looking at, like what date you're looking at, or like.
I looked March 20th through 26th. I picked basically a rolling spring break week, an entire Sunday to
Yeah,
Saturday.
yeah. I know nothing about that hotel. I was referencing another hotel that's normally $800 to $900 a night. That, and for all we know, that Ritz Carlton is normally $400 a night, $450 a night. But all I'm saying is the prices were astronomical, and in most cases, we just couldn't get a room anywhere that we wanted to go. It was just completely sold out where we actually wanted to go.
This is so
I
cheap.
don't know,
I might just
man.
book this, and I might join you. It's
You
too
should.
cheap.
That looks like a nice. That looks really nice, actually. I just booked something also.
Where are you going?
Where are you headed?
Disney World.
Oh, sweet. You should have
Not
consulted with
spring
me, dude.
break, so we're gonna go after spring break, like in their dead season, and just take the girls out of school. But
That's
I booked
the
the hotel I did on points, on Marriott points. We're staying at the Swan.
Oh, dude, I've stayed there. That's great.
Yeah.
It's nice.
It's a little dated, but it's like free hotel basically for just the points.
That's nice. Yeah, Dave. So now people are saying that I got caught in it. No, dude, I'm not making this up, guys. I'll try to remember where it was. Maybe it was the Ritz-Carlton Naples. Check that one. It could have been that. If not, maybe
Is it because you were getting like a
was-
king suite or something like that?
No, just like a regular room. Not a suite or anything. If not, I looked at so many places, like I'm getting them all confused. I expected that hotel to be super cheap though, because Naples, like, come on. It could have been also Puerto Rico. Check the not the Ritz-Carlton, but what's the other one? The Old Star, not the Ritz, but something just like the Ritz. Not the Four Seasons. What's the other
The
high-end
other one?
hotel?
Yeah. The St. Regis?
St. Regis, yeah.
Because
check
the
out St.
Ritz-Carlton in Naples is also going for $1,500 a night.
Which is insane for Naples. But check out the Puerto Rico St. Regis for mid-March. Yeah, I think that was the one. It was like $3,400 a night for a base room, if I recall.
My brain doesn't work. You said St. Regis where?
St. Regis in Puerto Rico. These are all places that people were like, "Oh yeah, we're going here. Meet us here." Dude, it was just
$3,500.
Yeah, right. Like what? There's 35 just for a regular room. That's not like for a suite. Just a room with a bed.
6 nights for $24,000. That's
It's
ridiculous.
So
I'm
what
not
do you
going
think
to
Puerto Rico
You thinking about
just destroyed
buying
by a
Marriott?
hurricane a few years ago?
Was it? I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe
Puerto
maybe
Rico
they're
was
having
just
maybe they had to
completely
raise the rate so that they could afford to refurbish the hotel.
I guess so, man. It's ridiculous. Anyway,
But if you're going to Puerto Rico, you can go to the Hyatt for $500 a night. Why not just do that? Real-time travel planning.
People that we knew were there, and they're like, "Hey, you can join us for spring break. We're staying here. It's really nice." But I looked at the St. Regis, and it wasn't even that special. It's just like it looked boring to me, man. I don't think my kids would have a good time there. So, anyway, what I was getting at was the travel trade.
Stock?
What? Well, no,
thinking
just
about
in
buying
general. Well, that Marriott presents a possible issue because Marriott, remember, has business hotels too. What I'm getting back to is our Roaring 2020s trade. We had a ton of episodes on it. I think we're right at that point. I know we've delayed this trade over and over and over again. We've hopped in it. We've hopped out of it. We're kind of half in it right now. But guys, if there's not another variant coming here, man, I'm telling you, like come May, June, dude, I think you're gonna blink, and all of a sudden travel is going to explode, and we're gonna be. I think we're just so beat up by thinking it was coming, and it never came. Right? Like we thought it was gonna be last summer. It wasn't. It was kind of last summer in a different way, but still people were hesitant. It didn't come in the way that we thought it would come. The Roaring 2020s. Then we thought for sure it was coming towards the fall, into the winter. Like we keep getting these variants, but if we don't get the variant, I think this could be it. This could be the moment to maybe go all in on the Roaring 2020s trade, which again, my favorite play there. It hasn't changed. It's Playa. I think Playa is, for those of y'all that haven't been watching the last year, Playa, it was one of my favorite Roaring 2020s trades because they exclusively own all-inclusive beachfront resorts in Dominican Republic, Jamaica, and Mexico. They're huge resorts. They are premium resorts. They are beachfront only, and I do feel like the most obvious play for Roaring 2020s is beachfront resorts in warm areas where people have been stuck in their house for 2 years. Not everybody, but a lot of people. And I think they're going to have a run like we've never seen.
10% today.
Yeah.
What is?
Playa.
Playa?
Yeah.
Yeah. I always feel like I don't own enough Playa, no matter how much I have.
Because they just had
I feel like...
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Nice. But they're only at 825, Jordan. They're not...
906. It says 906.
They basically have they've spiked up a few times, but they're still just kind of back to the range where they were 2 earnings ago.
My Ameritrade is like always so delayed with lately. Like I'll look in my app and it shows me quotes from yesterday. It's super frustrating.
That's really a difficult way to trade.
That's
like the olden days when people would get the newspaper at home and go, "Oh, look at my stock! It just went up."
It really is. Okay, this is a great. Pedro said something, and I had this debate with our friend Lynn yesterday and a couple other guys. Pedro says also, with all Marvel movies coming back with a vengeance this year, people will go back to movie theaters as well. AMC is very poorly managed, unfortunately. Yeah, so I'm invested in a movie theater chain called Look Theaters. It's a private deal. They own 10 theaters. They're expanding rapidly. And I actually had a meeting with the founder CEO a couple days ago, and I was kind of asking him, like, how rough is it out there? And he's like, well, we have, is it Batman or like one of the big Marvel movies is about to come out here in the next 30, 60 days, 90 days. So he's like, that's big, but he said it's been like very touch and go with the release schedule, right? Mm-hmm. And that's a huge concern, I think, for the theater sector, in that there's no certainty around what these studios are going to do with their direct to streaming versus going into the theater first or simultaneous release. There's way more questions than answers. I don't feel very good about it, honestly. I'm not going to even beyond the fact that AMC is a meme stock that we can't trust because it's valued based on something that's totally different from what the underlying business is. I just don't trust it at all, guys. I don't trust the theaters coming back. Because if they don't have content, I don't care how many people potentially want to go to the movies. If they don't have the content deals, or if they're going to allow you to see it at home at the same time, it's going to be less. I don't know how much less of it's going to be less than it would have been.
I like this comment from Investing. Oh, we have too many comments on the screen. Chris is so lost. Timing is everything. They bet right all in the start of the pandemic. Since then, he has been disappeared. He has been NFTing himself into the ground. Just cash in and go to the beach.
Okay, so let's talk about NFTing into the ground, guys. You do realize that for those of you watching and for that comment, my NFTs are up like triple digits since I've gotten into them. My NFTs have exceeded market returns by a factor of like 10. Okay, so yeah, I got in heavy into NFTs. I got into them right, and they have been my best trade of the last year. So guys, I'm sorry if you're not in on NFTs to take advantage of some of the alpha that I've shared. But guys, we did our first NFT episode. Do you remember what it was? World of Women at, what was it, like 1 ETH or something like that? What's World of Women right now?
I don't follow the NFT markets. Let's
yeah. Well, remember our first NFT episode was on World of Women, the celebrity thing, right? It was like a 1 to 2 ETH. World of Women, even being after getting hit, is at 8.8 ETH. That's like a 7 to 8x trade in 4 months, guys. That was my largest NFT trade at the time. Wolf Game, remember Wolf Game, guys? That was our NFT episode. Pretty much a 7-figure return on Wolf Game for me. Then we had, I mean, literally almost everything we've discussed in the NFT space has been explosive to the upside. So I'm not going to apologize about getting into NFTs. And I know I won't talk about it all episode here, guys. But listen, if you hear about it enough and you see what's happening, maybe you'll be open-minded to at least looking into it. That's all.
So what is the difference here between Wolf Game, Migrated, and Wolf Game? Are these even the right projects?
Yeah,
because one is at 36 ETH and the other is at 0.75 ETH.
Yeah, Migrated is the only real one. Now, I've already sold all my animals. I'm fully exited out of all my Wolf Game animals. I did that a while ago. The only thing I have left in Wolf Game are wool pouches that vest over the next 4 years. So, yeah, I'm mostly exited out of Wolf Game. But Lit, oh yeah, Lit was a bad one. Lit was a bad one. Let's talk. Lit was a bad one. But you know what? Like,
was it or was it not? I mean,
Well, I think entertainment value, dude. You got that De Niro NFT out of it, and that might be worthless, but it's hilarious.
It is hilarious, but it wasn't worthless when it minted, right?
No,
when you got the NFT, you could have sold it for 1.4 ETH. So again, what Lit has done in terms of distributing NFTs to its owners has paid for the Lit over again, right? So like that 2 million Lit we bought, we already made that money back like twice over just with the NFTs that were distributed to us if you would have sold. Anyway, I don't want to talk about.
I don't even know how to sell an NFT. Just kidding. I know how to sell one. I just don't know when to sell them. Like, I should have sold those immediately, and I didn't.
Oh, Pedro said that LAC got their permit approved. That's Lithium America, my number 2 holding. I did not see that. Are they up big? Oh, they're up a buck, but I mean, it's not up that much considering the market. Yeah, man. What have I been talking about all week, guys? Last week, the week before, Lithium America. Like, I don't know how they lose. I don't care. Like, war, energy, gas wars, it all benefits lithium. It all, in America at least, right? It all benefits us being energy independent in the one way that both the Democrats and the Republicans can agree. Like, they'll be fighting over fracking and the Alaskan pipeline forever. But the one thing I think they'll likely agree on is, well, while we're fighting over that, let's go ahead and get energy interdependent with lithium and battery tech, right? And Lithium America is the trade there. I love it. I love that trade. NVIDIA hit by a cyber attack? Is that? Guys, I'm not going in heavy on Coinbase yet. I'm waiting. I'm going to wait and see. I do want to talk about that as tail risk, though. I do want to talk about that. Do you think there's a massive tail risk here in the market with a potential cyber crime and hack of major U.S. infrastructure? Putin has kind of hinted at that, right? He's hinted at that indirectly. And I don't know that people are appreciating that as a massive. I mean, if we think about what could take the market down 10 to 15%, like if you're not thinking about that as part of your portfolio strategy, part of your risk management strategy, like when the pandemic hit, as soon as we saw that there was stuff coming out of China, my mind went to this could take the market down 10 to 40%. Right now, I mean, at any point in time, we can get hit with cyber warfare. But right now, it has to be a high-risk time, right?
Cyber attacks are the one thing that I am the most afraid of in my portfolio. And there's no way to protect ourselves other than just having a hedge position out there.
Yeah. So that's one thing I think to worry about. The other thing to worry about is, and I think I've seen people mention it in the comments, is that does this Russian invasion of Ukraine give China the green light to then go invade Taiwan, right? And I was reminded of it when I think I was going to bed. It was like 9 p.m. yesterday. Taiwan Semi, there was a tweet about Taiwan Semi saying, hey, we're going to comply with the sanctions against Russia and not ship any chips to Russia. And is that just going to then kind of antagonize China to come in and try to do something with Taiwan? I don't know.
So that's a big risk, Jordan, right? Like anything with China and Taiwan would completely devastate the market, right? So we need to be aware of that.
Devastate the market, and it would shred the semis, right? And I've got, my biggest position right now, I think, is Broadcom. So,
Jordan, it wouldn't just shred the semis; it would destroy almost everyone, because we're talking about anyone that sources product out of China. Are you kidding me? Like that would be. You think this Russia thing hit the market? That has to be in everyone's mind. If we see anything happening related to China, I'm going to put on a real hedge on my portfolio and potentially trade that news. It's going to pay to keep a close eye on this situation with China, because if anything happens, and I don't think China, I don't think they're going to push it that hard now. Like I think China's pretty smart. They're not going to do it in the middle of all this Russia stuff, because they'll be looked upon in a very different way. I think they would do it in the near-term future, but not in the middle of the chaos of this Russian invasion.
Yeah, I just don't even know how to time a situation like that.
I don't think you can. I think you have to just watch and be prepared with what you're going to do once it happens.
What you're going to do.
I don't think we can anticipate that or try to time it.
Just watch the news and panic all day.
Would you probably buy puts, Jordan, on the semi?
No, I would straight short. I would straight short the market, and probably.
No, but if you wanted to maximize, all right, I get you. That's a good trade. But what do you think would be the best trade? Not just a good trade. What would be the best trade that one could make? Probably put options on the semi
Taiwan
ETF.
Semi.
I don't know. The Taiwan semi. Is there a
No, that's a
Taiwan?
company, TSMC, Taiwan Semiconductor.
So you wouldn't just do a semi ETF. You would actually do Taiwan Semi. What is that trading at right now?
TSMC, I don't even know. I'd guess around $130. I love that company. I would love to own. They make chips for like everybody, by the way. So like whenever you're talking about NVIDIA, you're talking about TSMC.
Okay, well that's good to know, because that means it's going to screw NVIDIA too, right?
That's what it's going to screw everybody, right? I mean, they're one of like 3 major fabs.
Okay, so basically the play here, and guys, listen, social arb investing, we talked about this a million times, it's all about having a prepared mind for different scenarios. We want to scenario model everything that could theoretically happen, and we want to know exactly what we plan to do. And the second it looks like that thing might be happening or is happening, before anyone else has a chance to even process it, you've already game planned out the entire event, and you're getting your trade on seconds, minutes, hours, days quicker than anyone else.
The
It makes
problem
a
with
big
that,
difference.
though, is, and I saw this, I was just trying to, I saw this on Twitter, and I was just trying to find if I could find a reliable source, and it is on Investopedia, so I don't know if how reliable that is, but this geopolitical events and stock market reaction chart that shows the 1-day change in the S&P 500, the total drawdown in the S&P 500, and the total calendar days from bottom to recovery. If you look, most of these events that have happened historically don't have a huge drawdown, right? I mean, if you talk about Pearl Harbor, yes, the market was down 20%, and it took 300 days for it to recover. But in some of these other ones, I mean, the drawdown, you're playing with such little amounts, and it always does recover. So I'm not sure that I would, on average, it's going down 1.2%. The stock market goes down 1.2% all the time.
No, Dave, yeah, but you're looking at the market wide. Okay, what you're not looking at is the fact that that Russian internet company went down 53% yesterday, right?
No, I get that.
That's what I'm getting at. Like if there's a Taiwan situation with China, and you buy levered puts on Taiwan Semiconductor, I could see someone like Taiwan Semiconductor theoretically going down 10 to 20 to 25%. And if you have puts, that could be
it would be a disaster. I think
it could go down a lot more than that, right? It can go down 30, 40%.
If something like that happened.
But this is a stock that trades options. You could be looking at a 5 to 10 to 20 to 30 to 50x your money trade. I mean,
what was the name of that Russian internet stock that you traded yesterday?
Yandex.
YAMDEX?
ND. Yandex.
It still hasn't really recovered that much. It dropped to 1470. It's at 18, but it dropped from 34 to 1470 yesterday.
Yeah. There it is.
So that's about having a prepared mind. It's not about just trading the market. It's about figuring out who's going to get slaughtered in these different scenarios. I just came out of a meeting this morning with a bunch of commercial real estate guys on this thing related to our restaurant, Dave.
Oh, you must be in Dallas, Texas, where every person does that for a living.
I know, but I was talking to them because they just want to talk about stocks the whole meeting, right? Because they saw our show and stuff. So I was talking to them about, like, if you don't have, everybody should have a California earthquake portfolio, right? Meaning that we all know that there's a reasonable chance that in the next 50 years they're going to have a major earthquake in California, and if and when that happens, if it's during market hours, there is a massive opportunity for someone who is prepared to trade something. We're not going to talk about those trades today. That'll be another show, another random show. We're looking to fill time.
But if you ever need a California earthquake stock, I made a video all about it on the original,
yes,
on the original Dumb Money channel.
Dude, that was a hell of a trade. That was a hell of a. You look so young, Dave. Was that 2 years ago?
You're trying to say he doesn't look young anymore?
No, I still look youngish. What are you talking about?
So here's the thing. I agree. I'm very concerned, though. Let's go back to the cyber attack, though, right?
Yeah.
I think that we're at high. Let's say that Ukraine does better than expected the next 5 days. So Putin has warned us that anyone that resists, right, or if people don't get with the plan, that he's going to do this thing. I forgot how he phrased it. It was like something that the world has never seen, or something that we've never seen before. And my read on that is not that he's going to nuke someone. One, we've seen that before, right? We've had major nuclear explosions, right, going through history. So that wouldn't necessarily be accurate. And I don't think he wants to go right to nukes. I feel like he was probably referencing a massive massive cyber warfare attack. That's what I'm concerned about. And so, what do you think? I mean, I don't know. Nvidia was hit. People are saying I'm not watching. People are saying Nvidia was hit today. Is that why the
I'm
stock?
seeing,
Not
yeah,
good.
there are.
I
The
didn't
stock
see a
hasn't really
news.
moved, but I am seeing multiple reports of that on Twitter. At least that's where I get my news.
I don't know, man. I feel like we need to be focused on that as a possibility, or at least prepared for it, right? I think we'll probably have a little more advanced notice, Jordan, on the Taiwan stuff, and I don't think that's likely to
Yeah.
happen like right now. But the cyber attack stuff could be on European countries, obviously, NATO countries, right? Obviously, Ukraine. And it could also be on US. I feel like it's probably less likely to be on the US than it would be on NATO countries, because I don't know if he wants to get that aggressive initially. It could be, though. It could be. But do you think there's a play there? And is there a long play? Do we go back to security companies, right? Cybersecurity companies?
Oh, you're talking about
You-
like CrowdStrike and all these guys.
Yeah, like I feel like there's a, and again, I think it's really important to remember that a lot of these event trades are not about reality. It's not about who would actually benefit or be harmed. It's about who the market thinks would be benefit or harm. So I could see there being a knee-jerk reaction, like an initial knee-jerk reaction. CrowdStrike, all those guys would probably get an initial pop, right? They have to. And I think that's probably the easiest way to play it, quite honestly, because it's you don't really know who's going to get hacked, right? If there's a hack, you don't know who it's going to be. It could be the energy grid, it could be infrastructure, it could be anything.
Yeah.
By the way, getting to the overall Ukraine invasion, would you agree that the fact that they took over Chernobyl probably means it's probably a signal that they're going for a full takeover of Ukraine?
Yeah, right. So the idea there, I was watching. This is just what I've heard, but the idea there is that you don't want that to be abandoned, and they wanted to make right. So the headline is that they're keeping workers there hostage, but I think the point of those workers is to make sure that the containment stays in place. And so if you make the whole region there unstable, you probably want to keep the wraps on the containment in Chernobyl, just so you don't have a huge disaster on your hands if you have people flee from that area.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's right. Well, I mean, look, I mean, they're all over. They're trying to take over Kiev. Of course, they're trying to overthrow the government and put some puppet in place so they can so the country looks like a Belarus, right? It could
Yeah,
just be another buffer from the West.
it still kind of blows my mind. It just seems like a lot to bite off for Putin. Like it just seems like he's asking for.
It's the least risk that he can do, right? So it's the one power there that's not either under his control or in NATO. And so I think he sees that this is an opportunity before they flip to NATO, right? And so he knows that NATO doesn't want to go head to head with them. But they will if he invades a NATO country because they have to, right? There's they've got a pact, they've got agreements and rules of engagement. And so if they go in and raid Ukraine before they become a NATO ally, then, basically the country's their oyster.
Yeah.
I was just trying to find
by the way,
confirmation on the cyber attack of NVIDIA. I can only find one legitimate news source saying that it's the Telegraph out of UK, and it's behind a paywall, so I can't read the story. But that is the only legitimate news source that I've found so far. We'll keep an eye on the stock.
Don't you know how to get through those paywalls, Dave?
I
You
tried the
watch some
cache trick.
TikToks?
I know how to do it. It's just that one isn't allowing it. Like, they're getting smarter about that, and they're not actually publishing it out to the public web, only the headline.
So there's a better way to do it, Dave. There's a website. it's like, I don't know, it's like a transcription website that if you basically take the URL and you paste it in this transcribe website, it transcribes it, and even if it's behind a paywall for some odd reason, I've been doing it. I don't have the name of the stupid site right now, but it works really well, even on ones that don't work with that thing, right, with the JavaScript.
Okay, let me just see if I found one. Thanks to Google. No, they want me to pay to use the paywall service.
Will JPEGs be a safe haven during these uncertainties?
I don't know if JPEGs
Only
are
the
ever
GIF
a
ones. Only the
safe
GIF, not the
haven.
JPEG.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say probably not. I'm not super. I'm definitely don't look at my JPEG portfolio as being like recession resistant. I wouldn't call it a recession resistant portfolio at all. I would call it more speculative than anything else. Let's see, what else do we? I want to get some of these questions. Palantir, per the cyber threat, not a bad choice.
Wait, does anybody
Palantir,
actually know what Palantir does? I don't.
yeah,
No.
I mean, they
Nobody
they,
knows
they
because
almost
it's secret.
they almost just all you need to know is they almost exclusively service governments from a data management perspective, right? That's it. So, and once you get in with governments, it's hard to lose those deals. So, I think, listen, would Palantir actually benefit that much? It's hard to say. It doesn't matter. The question to ask is not what companies would benefit. It's what companies do we think retail investors would think would benefit and would be harmed if XYZ happens. That's all that matters on a quick trade, right?
Yep.
Any type of event-based trade.
And for me, I've been watching, there's an ETF that has a bunch of cybersecurity stocks in it, and that's what I've been watching to kind of get a gauge on what companies are even worth looking at, and it hasn't been moving up in general.
Yeah. Good point, Melanie. Russia was prepared for an invasion. China is not. This was tears coming. I agree. What people, I think, misunderstand is that Putin has been planning for this for a very long time. I mean, guys, when's the last time you really heard about Putin doing anything? What do you think he's been doing for 9 years? He's been drafting up
riding
this plan.
tigers and things. That's
Right,
the only time I ever see him is like.
Yeah, no, for at least the last four plus years, he's been focused on the Ukraine and certainly been planning this invasion. So, I don't think China is prepared to move this quickly right this second. I think we have some time there with Taiwan. But what do I know? With BlackBerry being so heavy in cybersecurity, I don't know enough about BlackBerry to comment on BlackBerry earnings.
Yeah, didn't they switch to being a cybersecurity company though? I don't really follow them, but I think that's what they did when they stopped making thumb typer.
It would kind of make sense only because they already have strong enterprise relationships, right? Sales and service relationships. So to leverage that footprint they have with cyber would be pretty smart. I know for a while they were kind of pushing the key advantage of Blackberries, the actual Blackberries, as being more secure, right? And that's how they got into cybersecurity. But I don't know. I don't really follow that company. Playboy earnings are March 1st. They had the revenue from their Rabbit Tar NFTs in this quarter, $9 million. Any thoughts? I mean, guys, you just have to go through the calculations. Is $9 million going to move the needle? $9 million is kind of interesting because it's not top line. It's probably going straight to their bottom line because when you mint an NFT, you basically pay a few artists to do some pictures for you. And all that money is just straight to the bottom line. I have a hard time imagining that Playboy investors are not fully aware of that by now, but I don't know. Who knows? I don't know that 9 million to the bottom line moves the needle for Playboy, but maybe it does.
Yeah, I don't keep up with Playboy enough to know what's going on with them.
Yeah.
And that's not the only thing they're doing, by the way. So you'd have to figure out everything they're doing, what effect it has. I just don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're basically a fashion brand
Guys,
now.
we are not up to speed on cybersecurity companies. I know it's just such a huge space. I feel like it would suck up half a person's time just keeping up with the cybersecurity landscape. It's an exciting space, but I just don't know. Jacob, you want to know what my view is on Spin Master? Well, I still have concerns with Spin Master as it relates to supply chain, right? Because a lot of their business is still focused on toys. Toys have to be brought in from China. We know that the cargo prices are through the roof. The margins are not very big for toy companies. Okay, so like I think that's a net negative for them. But the real reason why I'm in Spin Master is for their Toka franchises. And what I like to do is once every few weeks, and I'll do it right now, I'll hop in the App Store and I'll go to apps, and then I'll go. They make it so hard.
You can
Oh,
share your screen if you want.
I don't know how to do that. I'm an idiot.
Just plug your phone
I go
in.
I go top free apps, and then I go to all apps, and I change it to kids, all kids, and Toka Life World Build Stories is still the #1 app in the world. Toka Hair Salon is the #4 free app in the world. And then when I hop over to paid apps, every single paid app for kids is Toka. Excuse me, #3 is not Toka, some other one, but number 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 is Paw Patrol, which is also owned by Spin Patrol. 18 is Toka. Then 20, 21. So basically it looks like they have 22. They probably have 25 of the top 30 kids apps that are paid apps are all owned by Spin Master. That's kind of mind blowing to me. They don't just have like 2 or 3 apps. They have like 30. They have like 30. And 30 of the top 35 roughly in the world for kids are all owned by one company. How often do you see something like that? It's wild. So as long as I continue to see that, I feel like I have to own Spin Master because it just puts them in such a unique position to be a leader in the physical space with toys, or one of the leaders, but to have that, just to completely own the digital space for kids, it's a huge advantage. You know what could be interesting though? Someone told me that not Minecraft, but what's the publicly traded one? Not Minecraft. Roblox.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I've been wanting to own Roblox, and that stock came way down. Look at that. Look at that chart for Roblox, guys. Wow. Unbelievable. I feel like, okay, here's what we're going to do, guys. I'm not going to speak about Roblox today. I'm going to do a deep dive into Roblox for next week to see if this is an opportunity or not. Feels like there might be an opportunity there. I want to
Is
know
that
why.
line their IPO price?
What? Yeah, was it?
Yeah,
no, probably.
that's their initial thing. We'll
Initial
take this
trade
back into dollars here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
they're below their initial their IPO price.
Yeah. I got to spend some time on Roblox. That's a really interesting opportunity. I've liked the company for a while, but I felt like there wasn't really a lot to arb there. People were way too optimistic on what they were doing, but now that it's come down, maybe the narrative has changed. Maybe it's correct, maybe it's not. So they're going to court. That stuff usually doesn't bother me too much. I'll look into it. Do we trade at all in food companies or have experience? The charts on plant-based food expanding year over year seems intriguing, especially with big competitors down. Beyond Meat, TTCF, Oatly. Yeah, these guys have all gotten crushed. Guys, did you see Beyond Meat? I mean, dude.
Oh my goodness, I'm looking at it now. Wow. Oh, that's
No, that is a disaster.
Dude,
first of all,
like
I'm sorry for
chart
any
on it. That is it came all the way back.
Yeah, I am sorry for anyone that's in Beyond Meat. It's not a company I've ever owned. But we are in a company, Jordan, that I think is doing really well, although
Cauliflower,
yeah, I just recently read it. It's called Outer Isle.
Yeah.
And they make mainly cauliflower stuff, but I read that they are getting into spinach stuff now too. So they are working closely with a lot of the big retailers. I think that's going to be a huge win for us, Jordan. I think that might be a 10x win for us. It's a private
that was
company.
A private investment. So we did what, like 3 years ago, Chris, or 4 years ago?
Yeah. Oh, now someone has to mention one of our worst investments ever, but I guess we can't ignore it, right? No,
we've had a lot of bad
publicly traded investments. This has to be probably our worst call of the last year.
BarkBox,
right? BarkBox. Yes.
Jordan just mentioned WeWork. This is where it IPO'd. This is where it is now. But we bought it way up in the pre-IPO market.
See where we bought it.
Yeah, it's not even in this chart.
Guys, I did put it in my account, but I got my WeWork and I sold within 10 seconds of seeing it was in my account. I wish I would have
bought
seen
it somewhere
earlier.
way over here.
Yeah. No, it's like $60, Dave. Like $60, I think, is where we bought.
Oh yeah, well, that's just amazing. I can't even make the chart that small. Okay, yeah, we bought it somewhere over here. Okay, let me just draw a line for you guys.
It was a private company, guys. People are asking us Outer Isle was a private company. We did a whole episode on it. You can check it out on the original Dumb Money channel. Are we still in TAP? Yes. Yes, we're still in TAP.
But Chris is, yeah.
Oh, I sold my TAP. I probably should have held on to it because it's, just kind of.
I was in it briefly, but I was not a TAP fanboy the way you were,
guys,
Chris.
TAP's doing well. TAP is doing well. They're up $3 today. They're at 52 and change. Yeah. I don't have a big position in TAP anymore. My position in TAP was so big at one point that it was the largest position I'd ever put on, I think, ever on any stock. I brought it down. Now I wish I would have just kind of kept that big position because it's in the 50s. That's
talk about a nice little buffer during the volatility. That thing's just been steady.
Yeah, well, it's doing really well. They had sales growth. Let's look at what this last report did. Remember what our thesis was. I wonder if it's how I haven't checked lately on Topo, quite honestly. But I still think that the Rocks energy drink is going to be a major, major driver for them as well. Zoa. They still don't talk much about it. It's still a pretty small part of the portfolio.
Who owns Mountain Dew, by the way? Do you know?
No, I don't know.
Who owns what?
Because they just came out with a hard seltzer thing.
Yeah. So someone is. I did check on one of our private investments that Jordan is not in. Sorry, Jordan, but people keep talking about it, so we should at least address it.
Pepsi.
Starlink. So yes, we're in Starlink through our investment in SpaceX. Me and Dave are in it. And Dave, I just checked. Their most recent raise was $100 billion. Are we in at 25 billion? Does that sound right?
That. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I can't remember.
4x.
Yeah, that's one that they basically have said though they're never planning to IPO the company, and so it all comes down to spinning off other companies like Starlink off of SpaceX.
Yeah, and listen, honestly, even when they say stuff like that, whatever. Like
think about it though, they're going to have to continuously raise money to keep shooting things up into space, and Like,
When they just had 30 satellites burn up. Do you remember that whole bit? There was like a solar
what's
flare
that?
right after they
Oh,
launched a handful of satellites and they
Yeah.
all burned up.
Here's the thing, though. Elon says a lot of stuff. The reason why I think he says he never wants to take it public is because he's able to basically raise all the money he wants in the private market. They have such a robust investor base for SpaceX stock that they can keep tapping into, that he might not need to go public for a very long time. But the second that dries up, the second that money dries up, you don't think he's going public with SpaceX? He just wants the money, man. He wants the money to keep growing it.
Well, he
He'll do
wants the
whatever it
money.
takes.
The employees, everybody else they need to be able to liquidate at some point, right? Anybody that's gotten
Sure.
options.
I think he'll give them opportunities through things like the Starlink spinoff, right? Because we could theoretically see Starlink spin off at 25 to 45 billion dollars, who knows, which is basically more than we paid for all of SpaceX a few years ago. So I think he'll do that. But I don't know. People are saying that that Starlink is rumored to be part of the SPAC. There's so many rumors around Starlink. I just don't trust it, guys. I don't trust those rumors. I'm not on top of it. But I did see a comment here I really want to address, so let me find it. By the way, BarkBox, I need to relook into it, guys. I don't know. My position in BarkBox is so...
I don't think I'm in. I don't think I'm in BarkBox. I think when I was doing some spring cleaning on my portfolio, I think I sold it.
Yeah. Ice Cream Shop is doing really well, but we have a lot of work to do. We're about to break ground on it in like a few weeks. Tremendous amount of work. We're going to share that with you guys soon. Lots to discuss with the Ice Cream Shop, but we're not quite ready to share yet. I will say this. Someone is talking about a high conviction report that is in the dumbmoney.tv/Discord community. And I am aware of it. I haven't read it yet. It's on Olaplex. Now, did we did an episode?
We did a whole episode on the Olaplex
We
IPO.
did. I don't
Yeah.
think they've performed well.
Well, let's take a look, Jordan. How's the stock doing? Is it getting?
It's not
has it
doing
been
great.
crushed?
Yeah, I think they IPO'd around 24, and it's 17.23 right now.
But did we even invest? Because I don't know if I own that. What's the symbol?
It is
OLPX.
OLPX.
And it's still got a 60 PE on it. Holy.
All right, so I don't know what this high conviction report is all about, but I've been pinged on it by a few different people. I think it might make sense for the community to go in there, look at it, comment on it, critique it. I'll do the same this weekend. And if there's enough there for us to talk about, we'll potentially do another episode, maybe even next week on Olaplex. Someone says Onan deserves another look. Oh, they have gotten slaughtered, dude. Remember the shoe company? I think they got slaughtered.
On? Yeah, I'm out of
On.
that. My small position in that I got rid of too.
Yeah. So we'll look at Olaplex. I'll take another look at Onan this weekend. BarkBox is just depressing. I just can't even look at it. Okay, so someone's saying that G-Trends, Dave, on Ulta Beauty is just screaming. Let's take a look at that. I'll pull it up right now. But just on Ulta, O-L-T-A usually is what I look at. So, by the way, if we're going to talk about a roaring 2020 stock, people going out again, I mean, yeah, Ulta somehow did pretty well through the pandemic, which kind of surprised me, but I guess kind of not, because everybody was on Zooms all the time, right?
Yeah, you
So you
probably
need
had to look better, right? Because, you gotta blow up your face on the screen.
I mean, I feel like I'm just going to make a general statement here. I feel like in general, would you agree with me that people are just wearing way more makeup just generally over the past 5 years. I
I
think
wear
the
less.
look.
I don't think. Yeah, I would say the opposite.
You would say less, really?
I feel like there's a push towards a more natural look these days, and
Yeah.
the
I think the
heavily
young,
makeup.
the
What
younger
are you
doesn't use as
talking
much.
about? What are you talking about?
The young
I don't
I
know.
think
are
that
more chill.
TikTok filters and Instagram filters have basically created dual versions of people that they now need to somehow live up to when they go out in real life. And it is taking an insane, like, have you not seen some of these makeup tutorials? It's like, it's absolutely insane. It's like artwork now, what's going on to
Yeah,
just
they
put
paint that
on
stuff
daily
on
makeup.
with the
What?
with some of the real stuff. I mean, they paint it on like they use a lot.
Jordan, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying
Yeah.
there's way, I think makeup in general, skincare and makeup has just become so much more prominent
Yeah, maybe.
recently, like the last few years. But
What are a
I
few
don't.
big makeup stocks? It's
Well,
like
Ulta. I mean,
Revlon.
Ulta is there. Ulta, Sephora. I don't think trades on its own, but yeah, Ulta is going to be your like benchmark, right? I mean, if you want to just go to a straight makeup stock, yeah, Estee Lauder, Dave. Estee Lauder.
Man, yesterday was the
I
time
think-
to buy them. Wow.
Oh, Ulta.
Yeah, I would say that
Yeah.
Estee Lauder does not look like it's on fire. It seems to have just fallen off a cliff starting this year.
Is Estee Lauder like is that the Boomer brand?
Yeah, yeah, it's the Boomer brand. They have so many brands, though, is a thing that you can't just call them the Boomer brand. Okay, so I'm not seeing anything with Ulta G trends like this person commented that looks interesting to me. Maybe I'm missing something. Doesn't look crazy to me, guys. Elf was one of our biggest trades ever, Pedro. You remember that. I have not kept up with Elf. I should just kept all those Elf shares, man. What is Elf trading at? The drugstore makeup company that could. Unbelievable.
Yeah, you
they
were
got all
buying
the way
it
up to
in what,
30s.
2019, 2020, somewhere down here. It's
Oh,
pulled
yeah.
back. It's pulled back since January, but so has everything.
I got in those guys, I think at $7 or $8 a share. Right around in the eights, maybe.
Yeah, well, it wasn't 7.
That
because
was on the Jeffree
its
Star.
low was 8.
Toast, bad call. But I don't understand it because they still seem to be doing great based on my market reads of them. In fact, I had a meeting with Toast.
They are doing great. They just don't. I just think all these high multiple stocks are getting smoked right now, right? And so there is a time that you're going to be able to buy Toast. I don't know when it is, but apparently it's not right now.
So this,
or maybe it
this
is. Maybe this is when you buy. I don't know, but it's gotten.
This brings up a
punished.
good point, Jordan.
Same thing with
And I feel like we
DoorDash.
have to do this episode. I would consider Toast almost like an innovation stock, basically.
I agree, man.
And
I love Toast, and I've been wanting to get into it, but man, it scares me right now.
it scares you, but isn't this when you're supposed to get into it? I mean, the company.
Buy when others are fearful. Buy when Jordan is
Right.
fearful.
World War III
So
bullish for Toast.
They're saying LLC permit, the news just broke. Well, we heard the news an hour ago on this episode, but should we buy more LAC? Is that what you're saying? They're saying that people don't know it yet? No, it's Seeking Alpha had the news. Let's see when it came out. 150. All right, yeah, it came out an hour ago. The Nevada division. By the way, guys, Lithium America is one of our largest holdings. It says the Nevada Division of Environmental Protection issued the final key state level permits for the Thacker Pass lithium project, prompting the company to say it can begin to advance the project toward construction. Stock doesn't seem to be moving that much on the news, but let's see if it moved at all when this news hit roughly an hour ago. Let's just pull up the 1 day. Not really, because it was up with the market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really,
I mean,
not
it's been
that.
it's up 17% in the last few days, but that's more market driven. If you go from this low point to the high point, but on this
Yeah, there's
news,
just lots of stuff
on
that
the
looks like
25th.
that. And so it could just be a bounce, or it could be information driven. I don't know.
Could the market be slow to recognize what's happening with Lithium America? I mean, I think this permit news is pretty big. When we did our Lithium America episode, the one big risk factor that we discussed was that they are at risk of not pushing through their final permits. And I think, to any extent that they're pushing through is great news for them. Shoot, guys, I gotta leave. I gotta go, like, right this second. I'm sorry. I gotta pop. I'm sorry. I didn't realize how late it was. I have another meeting. Boom. All right, guys. We have a lot of good stuff next week. I think we'll have potentially a couple strong social art episodes, but also I really want to do our Kathy Wood episode. I think there's potentially a major opportunity to invest in technology and innovation right now. Honestly, the guys, like, we've been saying for the last year, these stocks are all so high. They're a lot lower now. A lot lower, right? Should we be placing some big bets on innovation right now? Maybe we don't time it perfectly, right? Maybe we're 2 months early or 6 months early, but it's worth a good look. So that's coming next week. Kathy Wood, is she out of her mind? Is she the worst ever? Or is she going to have,
or does she have a value fund at this point where it's time to buy the stocks that are in it? Although, do I need any more Tesla than I already have? That's a question that I can't really justify getting more.
They're better, I think they're better plays
also,
than just Tesla.
Do we invest with Kathy Wood and just get the whole portfolio? Or are there 4 or 5 individual names, which is the way I'm leaning, that I just want to pick up those names separately? One, I don't want to pay Kathy. 2, and I don't want to pay her. I don't want to pay her a fee when I could just go buy these companies myself. It's not like she's making changes that often that are meaningful.
And their changes are telegraphed every day. I mean, every time you make a trade, you know it.
Yeah.
If you did want to balance your portfolio to match.
I think that's an episode we have to do next week. The timing seems right. There could be a huge opportunity on some of these stocks. I mean, just look at Toast, for example. I have to take another deep dive into Toast because I think they are still destroying it, absolutely killing it in terms of.
And some of those stocks that are doing well in the real world and not doing well in the stock market, those might be the buying opportunities. I sold my Toast on the way down, but I don't know how low it can go. You just have to start looking like at enterprise values and things like that to see is like at some point does it just make sense?
I gotta go.
All right, we are done money. We will see you.
Give us a thumbs up before you leave, please. Please, guys, give us a thumbs up.
All right, Chris, give us a thumbs up before you leave. And we are done money. We will see you next week. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Thanks,